Hi everyone, how you doing today? We're back with another video, but today it's me and Ruben. Ruben has come here to clear the air so we can talk about everything that's happened due to how he met Debbie, and then moving on to also why Debbie decided to call him a scammer when he's not, and also on top of that, to speak about even her wanting to have 500k from other people, and then also on top of that, we'll summarize it down with what the plan is for Ruben moving forward. But with that being said, Ruben, if you want to say hi to the people.
Hi, everybody out there. Thanks for joining us today.
Fantastic. So with that being said, so let us know about how you and Debbie met and what actually convinced you to come on the show with her.
Actually, I was my mom was battling pancreatic cancer for about a year, and I was in and out of the hospital pretty much 24/7. I stopped working and used my whatever money I had to just work on her and keeping her alive and going to all the chemos and through the Whipple technique. And it was just, roller coaster ride every day, up and down, doctors, this, that. So I was in the hospital for hours and hours and at night as well. And I was bored to death. So I just started searching the internet and this app popped up, International Cupid or some Cupid site it was. And I said, all right, let me go on there, let me entertain myself. So I paid for it like for a month or so, or 3 months. I don't remember exactly the term it was. It was a while ago, more than a year ago. And I was looking around and saw this woman, I like blondes with nice color eyes. She had a very, nice photo profile. My age, I'm 58 now, and at the time I was 57, and was the same age, so she was age appropriate, or I thought. And you know, she had posted something on there about some reality TV star or whatever that was. I don't watch any of those stuff. Pretty much only watch racing. That's my passion in life anyway. And I sent her a message. Hey, hi, how you doing? Like, like to know more about you. And then she responded back. We had a couple conversations. And then that's basically how we met.
That's cool. So, so what actually motivated you to agree to actually come on the show with her? Because obviously, like you said before, you hadn't obviously watched TV. Obviously, that wasn't really your thing. So, how did she convince you to be like, you know what, F it, I'm going to come on the show with her?
Well, she started saying that it was she had to come on this show, that her timeline was running out. She needed to find someone. Can I find somebody for her? And she said, "Look, I need it because I tried to do this wildlife art project, to help people with mental health, people that have been abused and harassed, and people that are suicidal, and I thought it was a worthy cause. And even my mom said at the time, wow, it seems like a worthy cause. Maybe you should do it. And I shared the communications with some of my friends, the screenshots that are now famous out there, asking about who was she and who was the show or whatever the case may be. And some of my friends say, yeah, do it. It'll be good for you. It could open some doors for you. And she said the same thing. Oh, it could open some doors for you professionally and so forth. So, I still didn't want to really do it. I like more being private than anything. And but I said okay because I thought it was a worthwhile project as far as helping others. I've always helped others, and that's why I started a GoFundMe page for a friend of mine, because when I see the need and I think and it's real, it's not a scam or anything like that. I try to do what I can within my means, or whether financially or sweat equity to help people as much as possible, because that's just how my mom and dad brought me up.
No, that's fair. That makes a lot of sense. So, obviously, because of what happened with your friend's house, that's when you decided to open up the GoFundMe account. And of course, Debbie says that because she didn't know this friend of yours, she then came out to say that you was a scammer. What is your take on what she had to say about you being a scammer?
Well, I mean, we don't we never had much communication to begin with. But you could have just asked me. I could have given you whatever proof or photos, versus trying to destroy my life with those accusations. But in retrospect now, hindsight's 2020. was it a ploy all along to get me to help her once the show's over, burn me so she could become the victim? And she loves paying that victimization card all the time, like she's done before, and use that to gather more sympathy for her and more funds for her Wild Art project. That could be one view. It could be that maybe she felt that, oh, if he has a GoFundMe page, then people are going to donate to him and not me. Again, you know, I can't, I want the money, not someone else. And my friend, I hadn't been there for a while. I knew he had a leak, and it was getting worse and worse. And he had been in the hospital with septic shock and stuff. And I went right before Good Friday, and my God, I was, and he wouldn't let me in the house. I could just see the damage from the front porch, which I documented in a video. I can only imagine how bad it was inside. And I didn't even know he was a hoarder or stuff because he's very private and so forth. But so after all accusations, all that, I tried to take the high road, for a week or so, but she was going everywhere, you know, uh, with the inflammation and slandering me everywhere. And I said, I had to go back to my friend's house and say, look, this is happening to me because I tried to help you, even though you didn't ask for the help, and he didn't, you know, he's like, oh my God, he didn't want to even let me in the house.
Said I need to get in now. This is a whole different matter now because I need to make sure that everybody knows that my reputation is stellar. I've always been executives for companies and so forth, and this has ruined me professionally, including my current profession. That I no longer have a job because nobody wants someone with this kind of bad publicity, whether it's real or not. Once it gets out, it's a lot of damage that it could take years to overcome now because of this. But my friend finally agreed and let me in, and I did the videos that you've seen that I put on TikTok and everybody's seen now. I didn't know it was that bad. It was beyond what I thought. But knowing construction and working and so forth, it's bad, but it's not a condemned situation yet. As long as we could rip off all the plywood and fix whatever trusses in the top are damaged, because the bottom ones are still solid from what I could see everywhere. And that community is very small. I've tried all the churches, whatever. There's only like 2 or 3. There's really not. And even a couple programs that are have for the state, but they're not in those counties. They tend to be in the bigger counties that have the big tax revenues in the budgets. So that's how the GoFund started, and maybe the 2 possible scenarios why she attacked me. It's my speculation, but either one of the 2 makes sense, and from what a lot of people have told me.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't even think about the idea of that she tried to downplay or diminish your GoFundMe because it could actually take away traffic from hers. And that's actually a very good point, because if I think about Debbie's character, so in the first season, she comes in with Osama, and throughout that season, she played victim throughout the whole thing. And it was very easy for all of us who was watching at the time to feel as if she was the victim because she had moved all the way to Morocco for this young guy, blah, blah, blah. But then obviously looking back at that season and then looking at this season, she definitely has that victim mentality, that victim mentality all the time, right? So my point being is, I wouldn't be surprised if she was somebody who didn't like attention being elsewhere when it should be on her. And also, I think because she reached out to you, of course, on the app, and she convinced you to be on the show as well, she probably thinks, well, I brought him here, so I should be getting all the money rather than him getting something. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just that the more I think about it, the more I feel like it makes a lot of sense. Why? Because here's the thing. You had put up a GoFundMe for 100K. Meanwhile, she's got a whole website where she's asking for 500K, which is literally 400K more, right? But then had the audacity to say that you were scamming. Now, of course, we don't know how much she has earned so far from this 500K that she's asked for, right? But if anything, what I do know is if she was able to gain that 100K that you needed for herself, obviously that would help her get to her goal even quicker, wouldn't it now? So I'm just brainstorming right now, and it actually just hit me a bit different. So I can see why you're thinking that.
To bring a point, the 500K that you saw is only one website. There's a lot of them like that. So what is the ultimate goal? because, you know, she has on PayPal and all. I mean, there's so many of them. If you start looking with all different denominations, so what is really the goal, and where is any of the transparency and accountability for any of this money? You know, I made a total of $120 in mine, and I bought a tarp, which I had the receipt and documented it. So anybody's welcome to see, because I welcome full transparency, including from GoFund. I even asked them, please, you know, verify my validity, because not a penny was, in fact, the tarp cost me 123 with tax. So it actually cost me $3 out of my own pocket, and that's fine. I don't, I'm the, you know, I've already given him a couple $1,000s here and there throughout, you know, a couple of years to help him anyway, because he's, you know, he's a pensioner on Social Security of $1,500 a month. You can't even live on that. My dad lives on $1,089, so I take care of my dad and my mom as well, you know, but I can only take so many people on at one time. And then I even dropped it because you know, another cast member and other people said, well, maybe you should, you know, lower it and for the immediate need, which really, at least if we get a camper or something for the man to have a sleep environment to sleep at night, and he could at least in the day go make it, you know, use the house to cook or something, or the bathroom quickly, but at least he has a dry place for him and his dog. I lowered it to 10,000, you know, and I wrote all that there. And I also didn't just ask for money. I said, if you're a contractor, if you're a roofer, a building supplier, you could donate equity, skills, or so forth. That's what we need. It's not about the financial money. I mean, those things cost money, but I don't need actual money donations. If people have those things, they want to donate their labor, or, you know, for that cause, you know, the goal is to try to remedy the situation for this older man.
Wow. I mean, just to go back to the fact that Debbie already has multiple accounts where she's asking for money. That is freaking senile. Like, that's crazy. I mean, if I had known some of these other things before, and I definitely would have mentioned these things, of course, throughout my videos as well. You know what I mean? Because I think it's very key to let people know who they're supporting, and who they obviously give money to. Because, you know, when it comes to 90 Day, there's been a history of so many cast members to make these accounts, you know, and tell a story of why they need the money, when in reality they're just scamming the audience. You know what I mean? And it's a sad thing. But
I don't need the money, and I'm not asking for the money for me. I'm clearly documented, and I welcome an independent accounting agency to take over the money in escrow if we do get any money for that, because I'm not asking for a penny for myself. I documented, you know, where the money really needs to go to for this person, which I think is pretty obvious, that the situation. But with other people, you know, where's the accountability? Where's the transparency? You know, there isn't any.
I mean, I think that's one of the good things about yourself in this situation here, that there's been accountability the whole way through. You know what I mean? There's been evidence, there's been proof of why obviously you've asked for this money. And to be fair, even the fact that you even lowered the money as well, and obviously, like you said, because I know obviously it started with 100K, then it went down to 10K, but obviously people wasn't too sure why. It's now good to know why you obviously dropped it down to 10K, you know what I mean? And I think it's good that obviously—
I wrote it all on there, but you know what? People never read it. We're in that like one sentence mentality that no one ever reads the whole write-up, you know. Unfortunately, that's kind of the TikTok world. You know, we scroll, you know, every second, and that's it. But, you know, people really never really get into the reality of it. But it was all there since the beginning. It was all written out. Nothing changed in the GoFund write-up.
No, do you know what it is? I think with the write-up part, I agree that there's a lot of people that will see something and not read it. But then there's people that will read it, but then they'll change their mind based on what somebody else has said. So I think if anything, originally people did read it, but then Debbie came in with, oh, he's scamming you guys. And then from that moment in time, at that point, it doesn't matter what you read, you know what I mean? What you wrote down. It's now all about, oh, he's a scam because Debbie said it, you know what I mean? Which is obviously the sad part. And I also do want to mention this as well. Debbie has been very aware of your situation in terms of your parents, and obviously in terms of how they're not necessarily in the best of health right now. And it is very savage for somebody, and it's crazy because on the last episode, she called the other Debbie a Judas, and I think on the previous season she called someone else a predator or something like that. And she has this tendency to say such vicious words to people, but yet these words that she's saying are actually very close to her character, you know. And it's just so sad, because why would you want to diminish someone's name that is in a position right now where they're having to look after not only yourself but also your family too? Do you see what I'm saying? And it is sad because, like you said before, now you're in a position where it's making it harder for you even with your work. You know what I mean? And for her to do that, you know, it's freaking stupid, you know, and it just shows how much of a selfish person that she is, you know what I mean, and obviously how much just she doesn't care about the repercussions that's going to do to somebody else. And if anything, right now, if I'm to think about most cast members that've been on the show, I think for me personally, she's definitely in my top 5, you know, cast members. I just don't like, because you know I'm not a big fan of people that will prey on people when I'm just not a fan of people that prey on people in general. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what position someone's in life. I just don't like that. You know what I mean? Like what do you gain from putting someone down? There is no gain from putting someone down. There's nothing you gain from ruining someone's name, someone's credibility. You know, that's just disgusting behavior. Do you know what I mean? So it is quite interesting to obviously find out these newer things that you're telling me now, and I think it's more annoying because I'm not even surprised. That's the thing that annoys me the most. But I know we can't talk about the show itself in particular, but moving forward though, what are you planning on doing to obviously either help your friend or also, you know, just moving forward in terms of just the Debbie situation, or whether you're going to be back on TV again? What are your future plans?
I was never interested in being on TV, so it's not something that I'd seek to begin with. I was, kind of convinced and duped because of helping her, because I like I said, I try to help people. I always fight for the underdog, because that's just what I've always liked, and always grew up rooting for the underdog. It's just my personality. So being on television is not something that I care to be. To be honest, I didn't seek it. I was, thrown in my lap and begged to do it, maybe because of desperation, lot of no, she was out of time, and I thought it was for a worthy cause, so that's why I did it. Now, retrospect, I wish I would have never met the woman, to be honest. I mean, I did, it's just caused me nothing but grief for trying to help her. Or I thought it was a worthy cause, and you get burned because somebody has ulterior motives. Now you're dispensable. I used him. I got what I needed from him. Now I'll burn him and play the victim to the world, and continue on TV. With the next victim, and when I'm thinking back and I've seen it online, people are saying, well, what was her relationship with Osama? How did she meet this guy in Morocco who's not on social media or anywhere? And she continues to give him money. Why did she give him money?
I
There's a
mean,
lot of, it just opened up more questions for me, and people have commented on that. So, what did she see way back in the day, an ad for like they post all the time for if you're moving somewhere, or you have you apply for a K-1 visa or something like that, let us know. And did she see that and maybe sparked the idea, well, maybe I can do something here with this, or you never know what's in the human mind, but usually if you're going to talk the talk, walk the walk. And I've always talked the talk and walk the walk. If I'm going to put something in the public, or even if no one's looking at me, my ethics are my ethics, and that even if nobody's watching, I'm gonna be the same honest and genuine person that I always was. And unfortunately, trying to help her with this project, and thinking maybe, you saw the comment, oh, the producer, she's cute and all that, you could hook up with her afterwards. Was like, okay, well, maybe they're in on it too. I mean, they just want someone. So I didn't think anything about it, to be honest.
no, of course, makes a lot of sense. So do you have anything else you want to say before we conclude the video?
No, I mean, to use some of her words, that she says, everything that's shiny isn't gold, and I've seen the fool's gold. So, I just leave using her words that I posted, because that's very telling. how you go every Monday with motivational mental health uplifting messages on Mondays on Instagram and YouTube and everywhere else she's at, and then the rest of the week it's a total opposite of that reality. And I think people should be aware that what you see on television isn't real. Open up your eyes and go a little deeper, and see the true person, and not the persona that you see online or else, see what they really do in their daily life to help others.
Yeah, no, I mean, I completely agree with you. I think I've always said this though when it comes to reality TV or just reality TV. I always say to people, like, despite the fact that these storylines are most likely heavily produced, heavily scripted, when I say what I say it based on what we are shown, just in case other people are going through these things. So at least therefore I can advise people not to do certain things they see now. But also at the same time though, there are characters that do come on the show though, that even though it's heavily produced, you can still see their character within their character, and I feel like that's something that is evident, especially when you're I just feel like when you're watching someone like Debbie, for example, there are certain things that she says in certain ways, in certain situations, and you're thinking to yourself, this is probably how she really is. Do you see what I'm saying? And then when you come on social media, and obviously we are where we are now, and then boom, we're now seeing the exposure, and then you're like, you know what? This person isn't a good person. But my apologies. But with that being said, though, I always say this: I do appreciate you coming out today and obviously explaining your side of the situation, because I think it's only fair. And hopefully, when it comes to you getting your work again and getting your credibility back, hopefully, anything that happens here or moving forward will help you obviously get that back, because it's not fair for you to be in the position you're in, and you shouldn't have been in it in the first place. You know what I mean? But with that being said, I don't know if you want to say goodbye to the subscribers and also let them know where they can follow you. And yeah, there you go.
Thank you, Madzie. Well, yeah, they can follow me on Instagram and so forth. I don't go on there that often, but you could look for me there. It's Ruben _the_Cuban Miami. That's usually where I put some of the stuff, and I put some of Madzie's videos on there to get the word out to everyone that I guess is still drinking the Kool-Aid.
And just to add, it's also, I believe it's also the same in TikTok as well, right?
Yes. In TikTok, it's just Ruben the Cuban Miami. No underscore, because I had to do it differently. Instagram, the name was, I guess, taken by somebody before.
No, that's fine. Well, thank you for coming through. Everyone, please do like the video, subscribe, and also make sure you comment down below as well. And I'll catch you guys next time.